Guy, I'm right. Pretty simple one this. Let's take a look at the Premier League club's top 6 clubs from last season. So that's Man City, Arsenal, Man United, Newcastle, Liverpool, and weirdly, Brighton and Hove Albion. I'm going to take a look at all the players to quit those clubs this summer and just predict out of 10 how those players are going to do at the next club. Right, let's go. Oh, and by the way, lads, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you like what you see, that's a weird thing to say, but you absolute legends, hit that subscribe button. Back into the video. Naby Keita to Werder Bremen, 1 out of 10. If you were Naby Keita's agent, you'd probably be so frustrated you wouldn't even be able to eat a spoonful of Weetabix in peace without being terrified you're about to receive a text that your big money star client had just fractured his pelvis in the bath. Keita has all the talent in the world to be a huge European midfield superstar, but Liverpool fans will tell you themselves he has got the body strength of a little old grandma with chicken pox. And now at 28 years of age, the Ghanaian international has scuttled out the back door to Werder Bremen on a free. A team who just finished 13th in the Bundesliga. Listen, Werder Bremen used to be a desirable place to play football back when they were signing hungry elite youngsters like Mesut Ozil, Diego and Kevin De Bruyne. But recently, they're just like a 2-star puppy shelter for ugly diseased hounds, dragging in chunky misfits like Davy Klaassen, Tahith Chung and Oliver Burke. And guess what? Keita is already injured, just weeks after signing a contract with the club. Honestly, this is going to be a dreadful signing. He'll barely play, mostly spend the season rotting away in the treatment room. I mean, he'll be in there so often, even the nurses will be so sick of seeing his face. Honestly, this is going to be a complete disaster. Keita will play less than 10 games for the club before being shuffled out the door to Azerbaijan next year. Anthony Elanga to Nottingham Forest, 2 out of 10. Anthony Elanga, what are you doing? You hate to see it, but we are watching a promising 21-year-old Sweden international, a young kid who has literally scored goals in the Champions League. We are watching him choose to join a club where he will see his talent and hope smothered in a bin filled with chicken wings. All you have to do is just ask Jesse Lingard if leaving Manchester United for Nottingham Forest is a barrel of laughs. I'm surprised Jesse hasn't taken it upon himself to turn up at Elanga's medical and chosen to save the day like Superman by, I don't know, throwing banana skins at the club doctor, maybe throwing a toaster at the MRI machine, anything to botch his mate's terrible move. A £15 million fee has already been agreed, and Elanga has literally rejected a move to Everton in favour of a deal at Forest. And I reckon he's going to be a big money flop. He'll register 1 goal and 2 assists all season long. He won't click with Morgan Gibbs-White. They won't be on the same page whatsoever. He'll be benched by Christmas, with everyone wondering how someone can literally spend nearly 10 years at Manchester United and yet offer the end product of a mud sandwich. But then again, Lingard was at Old Trafford for 22 years. And similarly, watching him play in a Forest shirt, about as much fun as letting a snake chew off your nose. Ilkay Gundogan to Barcelona, 3 out of 10. This is controversial, but I reckon Ilkay Gundogan at Barcelona is going to fail. Lads, this man had it all at Manchester City. An absolute superstar at the Etihad. A treble winning captain, but to go to Barcelona now, when he's nearing 33 years of age, I just think it's destined to fail. Lads, remember how injury prone Gundogan used to be? His body used to collapse even just having a picnic with his wife. I mean, reach for the Jaffa cakes and he'd break his hip. But the fact is that under Pep Guardiola's magic wand, he's played between 40 and 50 games every year. No longer does he have bones made of Lego, so I don't think he's necessarily going to revert back to being about as feeble as a nun in a wheelchair. But I do think that this whole Barcelona thing is going to break down. I don't understand, how could this club be in financial ruins and yet still continue to act like nothing's wrong? Barging in front of the queue to sign Robert Lewandowski last summer was not acknowledging that, yes, the club can barely afford to stock Kit Kats in the canteen fridge. It's like nobody at Barcelona has acknowledged that, yes, their finances have been awful for years. That is the reason why their actual GOAT is now being forced to play football in America. So I'm expecting a storm to completely swallow Barca up soon. I just think Barcelona are going to have a horrible season. There will be an injury crisis in the team, and so suddenly Barcelona will be 5th in February with Xavi under pressure and Gundogan, so used to playing alongside world superstars with elite ball control, he will now be having to hold Aurelio Romeo's hand through windy games in Celta Vigo, as he himself demonstrates the technical quality of a cartoon mouse. Sorry Gundogan, but this is going to be a pretty traumatic year in Spain. Zidane Iqbal Utrecht, 3 out of 10. Who cares? Jordan Henderson to Al Ettifaq, 3 out of 10. You would assume that a Champions League and Premier League winning captain moving to the Saudi Pro League will be easy peasy stuff. That Jordan Henderson will pick up a £700,000 a week wage and easily show that he's a world star, whilst not making some part-time Saudi milkman doing rainbow flicks over starstruck midfielders who'll be begging for a selfie after the match. But no, Henderson is joining an Al Ettifaq team where there's no other stars in the squad. Steven Gerrard is a superstar name, yes, but don't forget, he also failed in his retirement league. He was nothing special with LA Galaxy in the MLS. It looks like with the influx of mega superstars to this league, then poor old Al Ettifaq are getting left behind. Price above the likes of Al Ahly and Al Ittihad are buying absolute Champions League winners. Stevie G is trying to buy Jack Hendry from Club Bruges. You know, a former Wigan, Shrewsbury and Dundee centre half. Someone with all the natural talent of a wet tea bag. Henderson will have a miserable time on the pitch. Sure, he'll live like an utter prince and have about 4 Lamborghinis parked outside his mansion, but he'll just be scrapping it out in the bottom 5 of this league. He'll be club captain, yes, but after about 4 weeks of screaming at teammates to kick the ball, he'll feel about as helpless as a frog in a toilet. Gerrard will get sacked and replaced with someone like Chris Coleman. Honestly, give it 18 months and Henderson will be begging for a move back to England with, I don't know, Aston Villa? Dean Henderson to Nottingham Forest 4 out of 10. Yeah, it looks like Dean Henderson is going back to Nottingham Forest on a permanent deal. Don't think for 1 minute that you want to spend the last 6 months feeling pretty insecure when Forest replaced him with Keylor Navas. Imagine being out injured and then watching an ex-Real Madrid and PSG world star nick your job, but Forest have decided to bring him back. And yeah, once his permanent deal goes through, I reckon Henderson is going to have a horrible season. Conceding goals left, right and centre, his confidence will be on the floor, and that'll be another English goalkeeper who the newspapers will rip apart as if he was just some chunky teddy bear. At least with Joe Hart, his career wasn't ruined until he was 30. But Henderson, his England career will officially be done by 27. Alex Telles to Al Nassr 5 out of 10. There's always some disappointing slidings in the retirement leagues. Alex Telles should be too good for the Saudi Pro League, but I reckon joining Al Nassr is literally just being bought to be Ronaldo's mate and keep him company on the beach. I reckon Telles, once a Porto superstar left back, now he's just washed Christ above. I remember the levels of utter hype when this guy was in the Portuguese league. What is it about Porto having left backs called Alex, who always get hailed as world-class left backs and linked with Chelsea for £60 million? Telles, like Alexandro, Telles was seen as the next Marcelo, but in reality, he couldn't even stomach a bit of competition to Luke Shaw, and now he's joining an Al Nassr team who are rapidly getting left behind. They are the biggest example of a one-man team ever in the world. Yes, I know they just bought Marcelo Brozovic too, but again, he's about as creative on the ball as a dog saliva ice cream. Telles at Al Nassr will be underwhelming. James Milner to Brighton 6 out of 10. Look, I think James Milner going to Brighton, it was a clever freebie business from the club, yes, but do I really think he's going to get much out of this? He'll be alright. He'll play about 20 games a season in all competitions, but make no mistake about it, Roberto De Zerbi has signed him up for the bench. He'll be a loud voice in the dressing room and lead by example on the training pitch, but he's been bought to play in the Europa League, which, don't get me wrong, he'll enjoy that. He's already played in that competition for 5 other clubs, but again, he turns 38 a week after Christmas. His minutes will be massively limited. Christ, well, he's nearly 4 years older than Adel Lallana, and he still doesn't really do much at Brighton other than just eat prawn crackers on the bench. I reckon Milner will survive a year before, finally getting that move to Leeds. Fabio Carvalho to RB Leipzig 7 out of 10. Fabio Carvalho is never going to play for Liverpool again. For some reason, Jurgen Klopp seems to hate this ex-Fulham child. Not sure why. Maybe Carvalho did run over his cat with his car. Anyway, the Portugal under-21 international midfielder is now on loan at RB Leipzig. The club needs some creative spark to replace Dominic Solis by, but they've lost him, Christopher Nkunku, and probably Josko Vardiol too. I've never been convinced by their hipster manager Marco Rose. It's going to be a rough season for them. They'll drop out of the top 4, but Carvalho will do well enough, I suppose. Score about 6 goals and assist about 7. He'll replace his bromance with Harvey Elliott for Xavi Simons. They can swap Yu-Gi-Oh cards and stay up all night watching DVDs of Shaun the Sheep. What, they're kids? Moise Caicedo to Chelsea 7 out of 10. Yeah, it looks like Chelsea are going to sign Moise Caicedo from Brighton for about £70 million. And he'll be a quality box-to-box midfielder on Mauricio Pochettino, yes. He'll be very good in that Chelsea midfield for about 3 years. But then his form will dip and it'll be sold to someone like PSG. But will he be a patch on N'Golo Kante? Not by a long shot. Alexis McAllister 8 out of 10. Can't get my head around the fact that Brighton make it into this video. Brighton are officially right now a top 6 club. But listen, they've sold world champion Alexis McAllister to Liverpool for 40 million quid. But it'll be another brilliant Jurgen Klopp buy. PC him together with Dominic Solis in the centre of the park. Not a chance will this guy flop. Honestly, he'll be top class. He will be Adam Lallana good when he was at Liverpool. When he was good, he was top class. People like to pretend he was a bit of an ex-Southampton flop, but that's a complete and utter lie. Sure, he floundered a bit at the start with Brendan Rodgers at the wheel, but Klopp absolutely refocused him. I remember that burst of form in Klopp's first full season in the job, when Lallana smacked in 10 goals and got 8 assists in 1 season for both club and country. Yes, even for England. Sam Allardyce has probably got a framed photo of this man above his bed. So similarly, McAllister will be as good as Lallana, just with way more longevity. And no, that's not a bad thing. 2016 Lallana was utter quality. If McAllister could play like 2016 Lallana for the duration of his contract, then that is a quality out of 10. Roberto Firmino to Al Ahly, 8.5 out of 10. Listen, don't get me wrong. Roberto Firmino will do well in the Saudi Pro League. He'll score about 50 goals across 3 seasons, win the league title at least once, before quitting when he's 34 for one last crack at Europe with, let's say Hoffenheim again. But he won't be the superstar of the Saudi Pro League. This man has the talents to wolf this league for breakfast, scoring no-look goals in his sleep, past sleepy goalkeepers with the reflexes of gingerbread men. But I mean, he won't ever be held up as one of the poster boys for this league. He's not now the Saudi David Beckham. He's not even the biggest superstar name in his own team. I reckon he'll be drowned out by the bigger stars in this league. I will almost feel a bit disrespected. I don't even think his name will be the most popular one that Al Ahly fans will want to get on the back of their shirt. I reckon that'll be Riyad. So he'll score goals, win a league title, maybe even lift the Asian Champions League. But I reckon when he's in his mid-30s, a small part of him will think, why didn't I just go to Atletico Madrid instead? Granit Xhaka to Bayer Leverkusen, 9 out of 10. Part of me wonder why Granit Xhaka would choose to quit Arsenal now when he's just rehabilitated his image with the fans. But I sort of get it, because Bayer Leverkusen are on the cusp of greatness. They have got the next managerial superstar, Xabi Alonso, at the wheel. Someone who took over a relegation scrap last winter and suddenly clawed them 16 wins before the season was done and was 1 goal away from a Europa League final. I think Xhaka is going to absolutely boss the Leverkusen midfield, and learning under a Champions League winning Galactico superstar like Alonso, he's going to be playing the best football of his career, help Leverkusen finish 3rd in the league, get into the Bundesliga Team of the Year. I'm going to go this far with Xhaka. Call me insane, but I think before he eventually leaves Leverkusen, he's going to have helped them win the Bundesliga. Honestly, he's going to be their best midfielder since Michael Ballack. Fabinho to Al Ittihad, 9 out of 10. Fabinho is going to be an absolute monster in the Saudi Pro League. Yes, he's tying up a £40 million switch from Liverpool, but make no mistake about it. I mean, he's not joining a virtual pub team who've got a camel in net. No, he's about to go and strike up a midfield partnership with N'Golo Kante. 2 Champions League winning defensive midfielders. That partnership is juicy, but you know what? I reckon we'll see a different Fabinho in Saudi. A Fabinho reborn. I don't think he's going there to be a defensive midfielder. I think at 29 years of age, instead of doing the boring donkey work, he'll actually be given license to get forward. He'll be a slightly more attack-minded number 8. I know his goal-scoring stats recently have fallen off a cliff. A big bag of nothing in nearly 50 games last season, but don't forget, he did chip in with 12 for Monaco during the 16-17 campaign. He can score goals, and yeah, I reckon he'll be a midfield goal machine and win the Saudi Pro League. And don't forget, he won't exactly be starstruck by Karim Benzema, because I mean, they played together before at Real Madrid 10 years ago, although I would imagine that nobody ever remembers Fabinho ever being at the Bernabeu. Not even Benzema, because his loan stint was about as memorable as a middle-aged spider. Riyad Mahrez to Al Ahly, 9.5 out of 10. Riyad Mahrez is going to absolutely eat the Saudi Pro League for toast. Look, this is a man who fits the profile for this competition, because he's just lifted the treble at Man City. He's achieved everything there is to win in Europe. I mean, he's got 5 Premier League titles, including that ridiculous one with Leicester City. And he's in his early 30s, but I'm sorry, his stats don't make him look like he's 32 and washed. That man must drink a youth potion every night before bed, because lads, 15 goals last season, 24 the season before. He's not exactly aging like sour milk. I know that the 5 Premier League goals last season don't look pretty. Those are actually his lowest numbers in the Premier League since that season when Leicester were nearly relegated in 2015. But yeah, this man is going to be a prince in Saudi. An absolute 30 goal a season megastar. He's going to outshine Ronaldo, win every possible trophy available to him. He's going to be the best player in that league. Not bad for a bloke who only a few years ago was playing in lower league French football, sharing a council flat with Pogba's brother, just eating pizza and popcorn for tea. Alan Saint-Maximin, Al Ahly, 10 out of 10. Lads, Al Ahly are going to have a forward line of Roberto Firmino, Riyad Mahrez and Alan Saint-Maximin. Just what? I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna say something which will trigger a lot of you. That this is the most technically exquisite front 3 of Firmino's entire career. I'm telling you that Saint-Maximin has better ball control and skill than Sadio Mane. And Mahrez and Salah are arguably on par, although I reckon the Algerian's first touch is a smidgen better. These 3 are going to blind defenses in this league. I mean, originally I thought that Al Ittihad, with Benzema and Kante, would blow everyone out of the water to win the league. But I actually think Al Ahly will win the league once again. But I am telling you, ASM will be the Ronaldinho of the Saudi Pro League. Unlike Mahrez, this guy will have the longevity because he's just 26 years old. This is bordering on a disgrace that he's even there. Although to be fair, it was only a couple of years ago. He was playing under Steve Bruce and Maxi was having to try and provide assists for a broken Andy Carroll. So this is an upgrade on whatever that was. Lads, there will only be 2 players who joined the Saudi Pro League this summer and actually enhanced their reputation. One is Jota, the 24-year-old winger from Celtic, who will become a Saudi Pro League superstar. I mean, how many goals did Benzema lay on a plate for Ronaldo? Similarly, with Jota, he'll probably score 20 goals a season and move back to Europe via Tottenham in 2 years. While Maxi, again, will be the Ronaldinho of this league. He'll get 20 goals and 10 assists every year. He will absolutely explode. I would compare him to Carlos Vela. I mean, he was an Arsenal reject and a West Brom flop, but he joined the MLS in his 20s and looked so good against ordinary defenders that American punters were actually asking Zlatan Ibrahimovic if Vela was better than him. This will be similar. Maxi's 26. Give it 6 months and people in Saudi will be wondering why he's playing better than Ronaldo. He's going to be a complete superstar in the Saudi desert. Be treated like a king before, getting £250,000 a week to sign a 4-year deal at Juventus when he's 30 years of age. Honestly, Saint-Maximin is going to be unbelievable. I mean, that's what you, let me know in the comments, what do you think, right? Let me know, how are these departures going to do? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share it out. I'll talk to you in a while.